Hello, my name is Lost Memin, and this is one of my extension projects. So for this extension project, I worked on the 8-bit binary calculator. It was a pretty fun and simple project to code up. It just took some time to learn how to push them into a list. So at first, actually, I just made a draft. It was very bad the first draft that I did, but it kind of helped me get the hang of it. First started off actually with four buttons, like two to the power of like four. Yep. And from there on, after I got the hang of it a bit, I just started doing it. But my bad thing I was doing is I was not pushing them into a list. I was just manually just checking them, but like if it's clicked equals that the it's dot fill, its color equals to white, and then if it gets clicked while it's white, it equals black. It was very bad. It was like a mess. So I got some help from Mr. Bartlow and did some experimenting myself. And actually, I looked through the Blackberry docs. It's actually a very helpful thing. If you forget some stuff, you can just check back and look at it. It was pretty good. And I actually learned how to just like push them into a list and check if it's clicked or not. And I'll just walk you through it here. So this is where I made the function. This dot clicked will help us, and this is the on color. It starts off with black color, of course, like dot shape dot fill. And this dot val will actually help us a lot. And I purposely did the border with just so that if it's clicked, like here, if it's clicked, that we actually see it. It just doesn't disappear. It doesn't look too nice when it disappears. And just the function on mouse up. And here's the button list. Here's the for loop. I just asked to make 8 boxes, and we just push them into the list. Yes. And here, what this does is actually determine the value of each button, like box, square. Yep. This actually says 2 to the power of 7 subtracted by I. So as I actually goes down, actually the value of the button decreases. Of like when each button is made, like let's say button list index 8 would actually be the highest. That would be like 128. Yes, and then if it's like index 7, actually it would be index 8 because like yeah, index 7. Sorry, and then it would just be 2 to the power of 0. It would just be 1. So that would be the last value of the square. And then let's see if that will also help us to do many things here. And then here we do function animate. I just declare I do variable mouse position just so that if it's collided with the button, we just check it off. It's pretty helpful. Of course, I mean, how would you do without it? And here it is. I draw the buttons here, and this is what this does. It just checks if it's collided or not. Actually, this checks if it's collided and it's mouse dot down. And if click check equals false, now click check will equal true. And this if dot clicked will actually click here would actually change. Like this dot click would change to a true. And if it's true, it would just change back to false. However, if it's the original one clicked. And here it is. If the button actually starts off with black color, it would just change off to the on color, the white color. And else it would just be the same thing. If it's just white, it would just change back to black color if it's clicked again. And here it will help us actually doing the value. So like if the particular button is pressed, a specific one. Let's say for example, I'll just run it. Here, let's start with the first little left one here, right here. So we know it's button list index 0 dot clicked if it's equal to. So button list 0, we know that it's 128 because of this value right here. And if we click it, it should of course equal 128, and it does. And just to be sure, so that if I press it again, it shouldn't show 128. I subtract it from the value here, and of course I write it here just so of course it gets written here. And it's very good actually. I really loved working with the. I think the part where I just added the values, I determined like each value for them, worked very well for me. It gave me like when I did it first, I just did like a whole equation. I was like, right dot. I was like, I plus. It was I plus I or 0 or 1 times 128 if it's clicked. It was very unnecessary to do and way waste of line of space. Like it was better to do this. It was like way more simpler and easier to do. And I think this was a very helpful project to actually like I actually learned a lot from it. Not just being able to push buttons in, actually how to do the power like the exponent and actually to check if it's each of them is clicked rather than just going to each menu, like if it's clicked. No, just you just determine it here with the button off. I just made a bit just in purpose because like 8-bit, the bit off, and then is equal to buses, and this helps a lot just doing it. That's why this will I'll probably use these things I've learned from the future for other, of course, extension projects. And don't forget, when I actually did this, this was actually pretty long ago. Like I think about 2 months ago. Yes. So I just actually I'm more experienced. I just I would say I've been a bit more experienced, and I think I could do better now. And yep, thank you for watching the video.